Michigan Kreitzer, Cam Vets Media, Army football practice. Buck Knights getting set to play Temple. I have a chance to talk with Nate Woody, the Army defensive coordinator. And Coach, a great road trip out to Colorado. Your defense played well. You were able to generate a couple of turnovers. Gavin Shields had one. And what is it? How much of a difference does it make? Casey Larkins had one in the second quarter. How much of an impact is it when you're able to generate turnovers and get interceptions in a game?
I think in these academy games is huge because you don't have a lot of drives. Each team sort of takes their time as far as the clock goes. They're not worried about as much about getting the big play, as they are about just grinding out first downs. And whenever you can get a stop, whether it's a 3 and out or a
recording in progress,
or whether it's coming back and getting a strip sack, or whether it's getting an interception. Those have been huge for us in these wins recently against Air Force.
And you had that play in the fourth quarter, the hit by Cole Seawright on Liam Zarka, and I believe it was DeShantez Gray picked up the ball and got the fumble. Tell us about that play. That was another very important turnover that you generated.
Yeah, I think that we sent pressure. It was probably the right time to send the pressure, and we were fortunate that they were dropping back to throw the football. The quarterback got hit from the blind side, and we had a really good shot at picking it up, and I was hopeful that we might scoop and score that fumble, but we didn't quite pick it up cleanly the first time, and then DeShantez was able to come over there and recover it for us, and huge turnover and a great stop in the red zone. So if you go back and look, their trips into the red zone, we were able to get a couple of takeaways, and that's the difference in the ball game.
And certainly having, in fact, we talked about it walking up here, Cody Harris-Miller back in at nose tackle after being out since basically the opening week. How important was it for Cody to play? And I believe Coach Monken said he was in for over 50 plays, which is a lot. And how did he hold up on that?
I gotta be honest with you. There's no way in the world that I thought that Cody would be able to go over 50 plays for us in that ball game. He's been out since the first ball game of the season for us, and you talk about a guy that demands the double team. He's a guy. Some other guys have stepped in and helped us win some ball games, but Cody's the guy that started off the season for us, and just guys had a really good bit of confidence in him, especially those linebackers that play behind him, and for him to step in there and play that many snaps after being out the whole season basically was phenomenal. Like I said, I don't repeat myself, but just no way in the world I thought that he would be able to go that many snaps for us in that ball game. We're really happy that he did.
Yeah, it seemed like you were able to get more pressure in the backfield, 6 tackles for loss, and Colin Madison had 11 tackles on the game. Jack Bassam had 5 tackles and a sack. You had a lot of players step up. Eric Ford had 7 tackles on the game. How did you feel about the performances of some of those players?
I was really excited about all of the performance. Some of the times, the guys that make plays, it's because of someone else doing the dirty work, and whenever there's a gap responsibility or leverage responsibility, and someone makes the tackle, everybody else is doing their job too, or the ball wouldn't have been run in that particular area a lot of times. So, when it's your time, and that ball does show up in your gap, you got to be able to make the plays for us, and we're fortunate we were able to do that against Air Force this last ball game. But go back to the turnovers again. Those were huge. The great catch, great interception, by Casey Larkin. You know, that ball was down low, and,
Yeah.
and he kept his eyes on it, got his hands up underneath it, and did a tremendous job of bringing that into his body and you know, making that a great turnover for us. And then you know, Gavin Shields did the same thing. You know, was in traffic and thought maybe that we might get a throw, you know, somewhere in that area, and fortunately, you know, had Gavin there, and he made the pick. But it was a lot of traffic there. It's one that could have just sort of bounced through his hands, and he didn't let it. He made a huge pick for us.
Well, I know you were turning the corner probably on the flight home studying Temple. And what do you see in the Temple offense that's going to be the big challenge this week?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I felt good about that win against Air Force on the flight home. I enjoyed that.
Okay.
The next morning, it was absolutely all Temple. But I think Temple's got an offense that is really good, very efficient. The quarterback does a nice job spreading the ball around. He can run it, and tailback is a good runner. The offensive line is not asked to do the same things that they were asked to do a year ago. So offensively, they're a little bit more efficient because of that. And you know, I think that this is a tough offense to defend. You know, I went back and looked at you know, their game against Navy, and Navy did a really nice job once Temple got into the red zone of holding them to you know. To I guess 3 points on 3 different drives, and if it weren't for that, you know, that would have been a really tough ball game for Navy to win. So I think Temple, you know, they moved the football really well. They did a great job of putting points on the board, and that thing, if they had stuck it in the end zone, you know, down there in the red zone, that thing might have been a blowout. So again, you got to give Navy credit for making those plays in the red zone, but again, it's just to go back and look at how Temple moves the ball down the field. I'm very impressed.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
We'll go to Zoom. Sal, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Woody, football as well.
Hey.
On the subject of red zone defense, your defense stepped up against Air Force a couple times. How important do you think that'll be in this game against Temple?
Well, it'll be very important if we don't let the ball go over our head, or you know, give up a post for a touchdown or a double move for a touchdown. If we're able to keep those balls you know in front of us, and we're able to keep them out of the red zone, you know, then we don't have to worry about it. You know, if we can make some plays on third down, then everybody's happy, and we don't need our red zone defense. But we do practice an awful lot on red zone, maybe as much or more than anywhere I've ever been, and we take great pride in playing, you know, great red zone defense. You know, last year we were number 1 in the country in red zone. This year, you know, we're not in top in the country, but we made some stops here lately, and the 2 that we got in the red zone against Air Force were huge for us. Great turnovers, and you know, we're really hoping that we could have gotten one more. You know, late in the ball game, the interference, you know, penalty was one that I mean, you know, you can call that, but and they called one on us a year ago. You know, down there close to the red zone as well. It wasn't quite as close to the goal line. We were able to come back a play or 2 later and get an interception, you know, a year ago in the red zone, and you know, this year, you know, it was right there on the goal line to put it on the 2-yard line, and we didn't get it. So, you know, red zone defense is going to be big for us this next ball game if we do a lot of things right.
Having Cody Harris-Miller back, you talked about him taking double teams and allowing the linebackers to play and make their assignments. What else more does he bring to the defense when he's back on the field, would you say?
He's incredibly positive. He is. You know, after his injury, you know, the first ball game, I wasn't quite sure that he would be back this season. I wasn't looking for him to show up, you know, this season, but he kept telling me he was going to be back. He worked really hard to do so, So that kind of attitude, just sort of filtrates throughout the rest of the team. That positive vibe and that confidence. That's huge for you, defensively. And really appreciate all that Cody does for us. He's just a tremendous young man.
It seems like the safeties, Casey Larkin and Colin Madison have been pretty consistent this year. When you have both of them playing their assignments, how good does that make your defense? Because it seems like, Colin's flying around the field against Air Force, Casey making the big plays and moving up and playing run two. It seems to be pretty successful.
Yeah, I've always felt that if you got two really strong safeties that can play, you got a chance to be really good. And those two guys are outstanding. They're smart, they're fast, they're good tacklers, they're tough. They can cover. So outstanding football players, both of them. The thing about the safeties is they have to be able to do so much. They got to be able to drop down in the box and play and make tackles on big backs. They got to be able to match up against tight ends at times and cover those guys that may try to use their size against them. They got to be able to walk out against slots and cover double moves. You got to have the speed to and flexibility in your hips to be able to cover that. And then they got to be smart enough to give out the checks, to everybody else whenever formations change. So those guys do a tremendous job. Coach Verpel does an outstanding job of getting them ready every ball game, and they make a lot of plays for us, and we absolutely appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Ken McMillan?
Hey, Nate. Congratulations on the win. I wanted to ask you about that. You guys, have that rule: celebrate on Saturday, and then it's on to the next product. But can you just relate to the fans what the elation is like of not only putting forth a good effort, but beating a rival like Air Force?
Man, I got a lot of respect for what Air Force has done over the years. They've won a lot of football games, and it's a tremendous rival, and rivalries get pretty heated at times. So this one, no different. There's a lot of jawing going on before the ball game, or maybe halftime, and then after the ball game. But to win a rivalry game, to put everything out on the line, everything that you got. You work so hard during the week in your meetings to understand what's going to happen in that game, what might happen, what you need to do, the checks that you need to make, the things that you need to look out for. Man, that's consuming. It's very much so. And then to go out there to do it in practice and physically, put it on the line, every day as hard as you can go, just so that you might have the opportunity to win this ball game. It's tremendous. So it takes an awful lot out of you, after the ball game, because now you got to turn around and you got to get back up again for the next one, and you got so sky high for that last one, that you really got to really push yourself hard to get back up there again. And I'm proud of our guys for doing that this week. So great win against Air Force. That was an offense that I truly respected, because they've been putting up an awful lot of points, every game. They put up more points, in that Air Force Navy rival game than I've seen them put up in a long time. So tip of the hat to our kids. They came to play and they got it done for us, and on to the next one.
I guess I'm not going to ask you about ranking the wins, but how significant was the performance against Air Force as far as accomplishing your goals that you had for the game?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. Like I said before, I want to play well against our rival. It just so happens that at this time of the year, you like to be able to to be playing your best football. You like to be able to go out each week and say, you know what, I'm getting better. I'm getting better this week. I'm better than I was last week. And if you look at how we perform, I think we can say that. And to stop an offense that runs the ball very successful, that attacks the perimeter like they do, and can still throw the football down the field is. I think that gives our defense a lot of confidence going into the rest of the season. So proud of them for creating the takeaways and playing hard and winning that ball game and just getting better. And let's go on and get better the next ball game and the next, to where we're playing our very best by the end of the season.
I asked Jeff this the other day, but 3 takeaways. That's outstanding for you guys. Is that a product of that we're in the 10th week of the season, and do you feel like your defense has just a better understanding of what you want to accomplish, and is that why you got the 3 takeaways, or is it all by chance?
I don't know. If you go back earlier in the season, I think Casey had a couple of balls that he thought he could maybe have gotten interceptions. It didn't quite happen. Earlier in the year. This time it did. He got better. He worked it. He got his eyes, got his hands on the ball, and just wasn't going to give it up. And Gavin Shields got one earlier in the season, got another one in this one, and the big thing is we were able to get some pretty good pressure on the quarterback. We were able to make them at least have to throw the football, and if you never stop the run, then they never have to put the ball up in the air. And when they did put it up in the air, guys kept the leverage on the receivers that we needed to keep in order to have the opportunity to get the pick. So, we're excited about the takeaways, and probably had a chance for a 4th one. I thought the ball was thrown down in the end zone that we had a shot at an interception, didn't quite get it, but then they came back and missed the field goal. So it worked out for us.
And last thing, you faced a string of quarterbacks, not only this year but last year and all. You faced some really good ones this year. What does this Temple quarterback bring to the game on Saturday? How challenging will it be?
I think he manages the offense very well. I think the offense has attack points that they put stress on the defense, and they got some playmakers. I think they went out and got some good players, to transfer in, and they got some good players coming back. And the quarterback is the guy that makes it happen. He's the one that gets the ball in the hands of the guys that need to make plays, and he's a guy that can pull it down and run it himself. So it'll be a heck of a ball game. It was one. The last Academy game that they played, against Navy is one that I really watched and thought, man, what an exciting ball game that was. So we're going to go into this one and think that it's going to come down to the last play, and if it goes our way, then that win will help feed us as we continue on through the last part of the season.
Hey, has Larry Pickett been playing on defense at all, or is he kind of just doing a lot of special team stuff?
Yeah, he plays a lot of snaps in our practices, and he's getting better, and he does a lot of work on our special teams. So tremendous young man, has a bright future here at Army, and you go back and you look at the safeties that we've been playing with, and they've been doing a remarkable job. So one day that'll be him.
Thanks, appreciate the time.
Sure.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Okay.